Welcome to all my nerds, blurs, and everything in between. Hi, I'm your host, Roshi-san, and welcome to the Blerd Bites. Happy New Year's to you and your family. I thought this week I could recommend some cozy anime for this wonderful winter season. I consider these anime wholesome or slice of life. And slice of life to me is basically where little things are going on. It doesn't have it could be something as simple as we're going to the dentist, we're hanging out at a bar, but not that much is going on. A good example of slice of life would be My Neighbor is a Cat, which came out in 2021. It's basically about a guy and his cat. And the coolest thing about this, you get to see the cats, you can see how the cat's thinking and what he wants to do and his hopes and dreams, but it's mainly about a guy just living with his cat, and it's super adorable. It's only 12 episodes, which is good, because sometimes anime will go on forever and ever. Yeah, looking at you, One Piece, with your 1,000+ episodes. Next up is My Tiny Senpai, which came out in 2023, and senpai is spelled Senpai. And for those who don't know, senpai is basically your upperclassman or someone that's just above you. So this series is about this new recruit at a office, and his superior is basically, I want to say, the tiniest little thing I've seen in my entire life. She's gotta be at least 30 years old, but she looks like she's about 12. So in anime and manga, when a character, a female character, looks like that, they are called a lolly, which stands for lolicon, and you spell lolly, L-O-L-I. Lolicon's the same thing with a C-O-N. And it's derived from Lolita. And Lolita first started out as a book about young girls and older guys. Then Japan made it into more of a subculture of really cool fashion. So, just a tidbit for you. But like I said, this is a really adorable series. Even though I tell people about it, they're like, whoa, she looks like she's about 12, that's creepy. Yes, it is creepy. But at the same time, it's really wholesome, and it's a good little watch. It's a good little 12-episode watch to see these two young adults that like each other. Next is the 100 Girlfriends That Really, Really, Really Loved Me. And this is basically about a middle schooler turned high schooler named Rentaro. And he went this entire life of being rejected by girls. And he couldn't take it anymore. This is the 100th girl that rejected him. And so basically he goes crying to a shrine one day, and it's just I really just want a girlfriend, and I don't understand why I can't get one. And the shrine god actually shows up, and he's like, hey, Rentaro, I'm sorry, but it's actually my fault. There was this late night show I really enjoyed, and I kind of messed up your case. But this year, you'll meet some girls, so don't worry about it, right? And, so it's really cool to see him, meet these girls, and then, you can tell they're his soulmates, because he gets all, hearts everywhere, and he can feel it in his heart, and they can feel it too. So, the only problem is, if he rejects any of these girls, they will die. Yeah, I'm whoa, that's deep for a harem anime. It's really deep. So it's just really cool to see him somehow finagle a bunch of girls. The author, the company that made this series, somehow made it insanely wholesome. It's not Blerd at all. It's just more of oh, he really loves them, they really love him, and they're making this work somehow. It's kind of like that. But check that one out. It's really adorable. Another good one is the ice guy and his cool female colleague. This also came out in 2023. It's basically about a who is descendant from a snow woman. So whenever he gets nervous, his snow powers go out of whack. Like, for instance, the first episode, he was so nervous that the snow from his body froze his feet. And that's how he met his cool female colleague. She actually saw that and tried to help him pour some coffee to help it melt. And he thought, wow, she's so great, so cool. Only to find out that they're both working at the same place. Well, the first day at the same place. Okay, it's another romantic anime, but it's really nice to see that, like, they accept each other for who they are. Like, okay, so she's basically what you want to consider a kudari, which is Kuudere. And that's a character that they don't really show their emotions. But even though they don't do that, it doesn't mean that they're not emotional. That makes any sense. So they look like they're down the outside, but they're really cool on the inside. Yeah, that's kind of how she is. But he's able to see how kind she is because she does stuff for him all the time. And he's instantly falling for her. And of course she falls for him too. I mean, come on. He's a snowman, basically. If you're looking for a more comedy-oriented anime, I would recommend Miss Kobayashi, which is spelled Kobayashi. Dragon Maid. It came out in 2017, and it's basically about this lady named Miss Kobayashi, who actually got drunk one day and encountered a dragon. She was so plastered and was pretty sure that this isn't real, she offered to let the dragon stay with her. Only for the next day, the dragon actually show up again, and she's like, wait, you're real? Oh my gosh. And this begins a quite funny saga of a dragon living with a human. I mean, luckily the dragon has like a human size, and her name is Toru. So Toru wants to stay with her in, like, the human realm. So she decides to become her maid. So it's just a really cool series because other dragons show up too, looking for Toru, and they start staying there too. And it's a quite funny little series, Definitely check that one out. A big hit in recent times, I would say, is Spy Family. And it's actually more like Spy X Family, but for some reason Japan's like, don't forget, just forget about the X, okay? It's such a good little series. It started in 2022, so it's basically about this secret agent, and his name is Twilight, or his code name, his name's Twilight, and he basically has this job where he's got to get a pretend family to take down this evil dude, basically. And he basically found this daughter type of character at this local orphanage, which was shady orphanage. That's where he found her. And then as far as the wife goes, he wasn't too sure how to do about that. And this is like, it's like a whole other world, but it's still like kind of World War II vibes. And in this time period, like, if you're a female over a certain age, you're probably a spy. It looks really bad. So it's kind of interesting how he met the quote-unquote wife, Yor, because she was like that. She was like just too busy taking care of her brother to really worry about marriage. So when she was like, hey, let's just get married, why not? So, and it was just this interesting dynamic with the three of them, because they really care and love each other, even though it's all a lie. So yeah, Spy Family, there's 2 seasons of that so far, but it's really crazy. This has a little more action adventure than the typical, slice of life or wholesome anime, but it's pretty cool. A more older series that came out 2004 would be School Rumble. Now, I really enjoyed this one back when I was younger. It's just about, like, how to put it, about this delinquent that falls for, like, a very wholesome girl. but he doesn't have the courage to tell her how he feels. So, like, it's like a love triangle, I guess you could say, because she likes the kind of, Sasuke kind of brooding guy, where the delinquent starts coming to school to see her, and everyone's like, whoa, what's he doing here? I don't understand. Like, usually he's never here. But it's a really funny series. Monthly Girls Nozaki, which is spelled Nozaki, Kun, which is Kun, and that came out in 2014. Now, it's basically a slice of life romance about a girl that ends up falling for her favorite author. Now, it's interesting because they're all in high school, and also the boy is like insanely nuts. Like, he has no idea about her feelings. And it's even crazier because he writes basically female-oriented fiction, which is called shoujo, which is spelled many different ways, but also spelled Shoujo. There's also Shojo. And it's such a zany little series because she ends up helping out with the actual comic that he has and everything. But it's a really cool series that I like. It's very zany, very out there, very crazy. A more popular romance would be called Horimiya, which is Horimiya, and that came out in 2021. It's basically combining the two leads' names. Because her name is Hori and his name is Miyamura. The moral of this story is don't judge a book by its cover. Like, everybody's different depending on who they're around. Like, even though Hori seems like, oh, she's so popular and it's like the it girl, she goes home and she just has so much responsibility, and she just, she dresses typical, like, oh, like, I don't care kind of look at home, so you can finally be yourself. Whereas Miyamura is way different. Like, at school, he doesn't have any friends, he's quiet, nobody notices him, basically invisible. But as soon as those doorbell rings, he can show off his piercings, he can show off his tattoos. Like, he's basically an emo boy, like, straight up. Like, could be on a magazine somewhere. It basically took a chance meeting for them to see each other, like, outside of classroom, which kind of, stirred up a little something within them. But it's a cool little romantic series. Orion High School Host Club, which came out in 2006, is probably the most well-known anime in my whole list right here. It was pretty big in the early 2000s. And it's basically about, it's about this girl, right? And except you can't really tell she's a girl, she's very much dressed like a dude, basically. And we call that gender bending, by the way. But anyhow, she basically accidentally goes into this room and accidentally knocks over a vase, which starts the whole anime. It was actually the vase of a host club. And a host club is something that's actually real, and it happens in Japan and other countries too. It's basically a club where high-rolling women and men can go to these clubs and basically be, how do you say, cherished by the opposite sex? I mean, I'm not sure how it goes, and particularly in Japan, but in this series, it's mainly about these high-class females being basically, oh, you're so beautiful, you just made them feel good in a way. But I do know in Japan, like, they're basically dating these people, like, they're texting, they're calling, all that kind of stuff. So the series has a lot of romance in it, whether it's the fake one with the other high-class girls or the real one with the main characters. But it's such a funny and, like, I say wholesome again, but wholesome series. And what the host club is like, check out this series. Little Witch Academia came out in 2017. It got a few seasons, and I know a lot of you have heard of My Hero Academia. They don't nothing to do with each other. Just that they both deal with different schools. Little Witch Academia is just about witches being trained at a witch school. And it's super adorable because it's like the main character is like a first generation like witch, and she always wanted to be a witch. You see her messing up all the time. It's actually just super adorable. So definitely check that one out. It should still be on Netflix, but I'm not really sure. The Way of the House Husband came out in 2021, and it's actually about what it sounds like. He's a house husband, but so basically this guy, right? He fell in love with this girl who basically saved his life. And he went from being basically a yakuza, which is a Japanese gangster, to being the house husband of a woman that works and stuff. It's a really weird show because I believe they have a daughter too, so it's like, he takes care of the kid, like he can cook, he can do whatever, but it's like he still has that mentality of being a yakuza member. So it's just really funny to kind of see him, tackle day-to-day things like shopping and, just get stuff for the kid and everything. So it's definitely a different show. They also have a live action too on Netflix, which is probably just as zany as the anime. The Devil is a Part-Timer came out 2013, and it's basically about the devil and his henchmen come to our world to escape a big battle that they were having, and they decided to stay here. So the devil's like, okay, I need income, I need money. So he basically gets a job at McDonald's, which, yes, in a lot of anime, they use McDonald's and just change it a little bit, He got a job there, and he's doing really well, and more people from that world keep joining every season. Like, a lot of stuff goes down. It's a real slice of life, but it also has other elements, too, like, magic and fighting and whatnot. But, it's a crazy series, because he's really good at his job, too, which is what you want a person to be. Really good at their job. A true classic magical girl series would be Cardcaptor Sakura, and that came out in 1998, and it had a sequel series that came out in 2018, and it was called Cardcaptor Sakura Clear Card. So it's basically a typical magical girl series where a girl gets magic, basically. And Sakura basically opens up, she finds this stack of cards, right? Opens them up only for these cards to basically, they didn't really come alive, but they did they do have their own power. So it's like she had to collect all these cards, and then eventually in fights, she can use the cards. And not exactly like how they do it in like Yu-Gi-Oh, but similar. Like, if this card lets her fly, she can fly. You know what I'm saying? So it was, I definitely grew up on this series. I mean, shoot. It was, super, super cool. Yeah, they got a little romance in there, you can see your age up a little bit. Oh yeah, it's definitely check out Cardcaptor Sakura. Rilakuma and Karu. Now, Rilakuma is spelled Rilakkkuma. And this was a Sanrio series that came out in 2019. So, Rilakuma is basically one of the mascot characters from Sanrio. And this series, I don't want to say to make any sense. It was more of, oh, look how adorable they are type of series. Like, there was definitely a slice of life. It was basically about a woman who had this giant bear and then little bears that lived with her in an apartment. That was the whole setup. I watched them go day to day. They went on picnics. They just hung out. They helped out children. They never once explained where these bears came from Are they actually bears? Are they humans in these bear costumes? Nothing. No explanation, just an accepted audience. These bears are here to stay. Next up is the Saint's magic power is omnipotence. This came out in 2021. It's this fairly new series that I like, and it's basically about it's actually about two girls that got isekai, and isekai means that a character is either transported to another world, transported to a parallel world, they get reincarnated, or they're trapped in another world, basically. And so I said she got isekai to another world. She got taken to another world. She didn't choose this. This world literally wanted a saint, so they got it from our world. And it's an interesting series because both girls have the power, but only one can be it. And the one that was chosen wasn't the right one. Like the king's kid with the prince literally just chose one because of looks, which was pretty messed up. So it's kind of cool to see the main girl, the less pretty one, if you will, the main girl kind of go into society and become this saint. And she's destroying monsters all the time. You know, she even has a love interest that she's too afraid to really try anything with because he's like super handsome, which, let's face it, it's like with everybody. But it's just a cool little series that I'm happy that it came back after a few years. You know, new season this year. But yeah, Sei, as her name is Sei. Yeah, Sei is very much just a normal girl that wanted to get into more of like apothecary medicine type of work. So she does that on the side, but her main reason to be there is to get rid of the monsters. So it's a good little series. A major Sanrio series that came out in 2018 is Agresco. And you pronounce that you spell that Agretsuko. And it's actually been going on about 5 seasons now, which is something that's not been too often in anime. And it's basically about a red panda, and her name is Dresco. And there shows a slice of life about her day-to-day, being 25, working in an office, her love life, and everybody is an anthropomorphic animal, which means they're very much humanoid, but everybody's a different kind of animal. And every day it's like, oh, what's Dresco gonna get to today? Is she going to, I don't know, go, and she has this really cool outlet, is karaoke. And she has this, what we call a death voice, which is very much what it sounds like. It just sounds like she's just, it's really cool. Yeah, but definitely check that one out. It's on Netflix, all 5 seasons. So, Buddy Daddies came out in 2023, and it's basically about 2 guys that have a very dangerous job where they sometimes gotta kill people and whatnot. And they end up raising a child together because they just couldn't, let her go in a way. And it's a very interesting little series. It's basically 2 bros raising a child. But check that one out. There's a lot of action adventure in that one. And it's a cool series. Last on my list, I have My Next Life as a Villainous. All Routes Lead to Doom. This came out in 2021. So this anime is sort of kind of considered a harem in a way. But it's such a wholesome harem that it's just it's okay. Because the main character basically gets reincarnated to another world and into the body of one of her favorite characters, which happens to be the villainess of the story. So her main point in this is to survive, okay? Because in this dating sim, which is also called Otome game, spelled Otome, is that the villainess will die in certain ways, whether she'll die this way, whether she'll die that way. So this girl's whole objective is to live. You know what I mean? So she, even though she made the villainess a much better character, it also changes the characters around her. Like, for instance, her fiance was supposed to be this really cruel prince, but because she treated him so well, like a normal human being, like, he became a good person. Little things like that. Which, of course, she has her own, like, suitors. Like, so everybody wanted a piece of her at one point. To the point that she was so nuts, she had no idea. It's just, wow, they're so nice to me. It's like, yeah, what do you think, you know? Sometimes I just want to just shake them and be like, you know, they like you, right? It's so obvious, but, you know, it's okay. I just sit back and watch. So that's my list of cozy winter anime series for you to check out. And thank you. I appreciate you guys making it this far. If you have any questions or comments for me, feel free to email me at bitethis, BITETHIS, at myyahoo.com. Any questions, comments, you want me to review any anime or would recommend anime to me to look at, go ahead. It's open for you. So, everybody, wish you a happy new year, and much blessings to you, and you guys have a great one. Keep on the love. Bye.